Right, so with this question, we've got 4 to the power 3 over 2. Okay, so it's a fractional power. The only way we can solve this, okay, or work out the value of it, is if we make the fraction, so we've got 1 on the top, okay? Because 3 over 2, we don't really know what that is, but we know what a power half is. Power half is square root. Of course, that 3, now we can put outside of this bracket. Okay, so we can write it like that. 4 to the power 3 over 2 can be written as 4 to the power half, all to the power 3. Because, you know, with indices, when you've got one power raised to another, we times them. So when you times them, you get 3 over 2. So it's the same thing. And then, of course, 4 to the power half is just square root. Okay, so we're square rooting 4 in there. And then we've got the cube outside. Square root of 4 is 2. Okay, and then when you cube it, then, well, you use your calculator on this, but 2 times 2 times 2 is 8, of course. Use your calculator to check, but the workings need to be there, okay? Next one, 8 to the power 2/3. Again, we can't deal with that fractional power directly. We need it to be 1/3. So what I'll do is, I'll write it as 8 to the power 1/3, and I'll take the 2 outside as an outside power, okay? And then power 1/3, of course, means cube root. Okay, so cube root of 8, and then we're going to square it. Now, cube root of 8 is 2, right? It's the opposite of this, isn't it? We cube 2 to get 8, so the cube root of 8 is 2, and then it says to square it. And when we square 2 squared, 2 times 2 is 4. C, now, just like the question before, when you've got a negative power, right? Doesn't matter whether it's a whole number or whether it's a fraction. Negative power, you write the reciprocal of it, so you write it as 1 over, okay, 7 squared, okay, so it's kind of like the reciprocal idea where you flip it, okay, so you can write it as 1 over, okay, 7 to the power 2, so the minus power becomes positive, alright, when you write it as 1 over, and of course 1 over 7 squared is 1 over 49, okay, so that's the value of that there. With D here, okay, we've got negative fractional power, okay, so when you've got that, again, you write it as 1 over to make the power positive, okay, and of course it's a fractional power, we've got here positive now because we've written as 1 over, so to deal with that, write it as 16 to the power half, okay, and then take the 3 out, so we're cubing it, and then inside that fraction, of course, then we've got here 16 to the power half is square root of 16. We want to cube it, and square root of 16 is 4. And then when we cube it, 4 cubed is 64. Okay, so we get 1 over 64. Part E then, 400 this time, to the power minus 3 over 2. So again, because it's minus power, write it as 1 over 400 to the positive 3 over 2. Okay. So we can't deal with 3 over 2, so we write it as 400 to the power half and take the 3 outside. And of course, power half is square root, yeah? So we've got square root of 400, and then of course we need to cube all that. Now, square root of 400 is 20. Okay, so we 1 over 20 cubed, and of course then 20 cubed is 8,000, so we 1 over 8,000. Okay, now of course you use your calculator throughout each phase here, right? So you could use your calculator to check each of these. I know square root of 400 is 20, but if you didn't know that, you use your calculator, 20 cubed, you know, you can use your calculator there, but it's important you just show the steps, okay, if this question comes up. Similar to this one now, we need to do this in stages. 64 to the power minus a half, while of course that can be written as 1 over 64 to the power half, okay, because it's a negative power, times 36, okay, to the power 3 over 2. So we can write that to the power half and take out the cubed, okay. Now, of course, then this can be written as 64 to the power half, well, power half is square root, okay, times then 36 to the power half, which is also square root. We've got to cube that. So when you work that out then, 64, square root is 8, isn't it? Square root of 64 is 8. Square root of 36 is 6, and you've got to cube it. So you can use your calculator to check all that out then, and it comes to be 216 over 8, which is 27, right? So you use your calculator, of course, but you know the steps need to be in place here. Similarly then with G and H. With G, okay, when you've got one power raised to another, remember you can times the powers. Okay, and that's what they're looking for in the exam, to actually show that you understand rules of indices, and you can times the powers. When you do half times 4, of course that would be 4 halves, which is just squared, isn't it? It's just 4 divided by 2 is 2. So the power is a square. Okay, so you literally times them and you get the power to be 2. And 100 squared will be 10,000. This one here as well, because you might be looking at this and thinking I've got a cube root 12, okay, when you see that. However, don't go down that route, okay, because cube root of 12, you can't do that, right? You need a calculator. But they're looking in the exam for you to show your understanding here, and you're going to times the indices, okay? And if you times the powers there, right, a third times 6, of course, is 6 over 3, and 6 divided by 3 is 2, so it's just 12 squared. You've got to work out 12 squared is 144, all right? So you can just show you sort of workings there.